Wait for Greg to go get the beer. Well, I'll introduce here, beer tubers. Welcome back to Beer Analysis 101 with your host, Macwell Star. Tonight, we are going to do a beer from a company called Hop Valley, aka Molson, but we'll talk about that later. This is Hop Valley's Bubble Stash CryoHop IPA, 6.2% ABV. Before I get into the history here, let's
Okay, Nick, I'm back. I got the beer. We can start whenever you're ready.
get interrupted by Greg and then move over to Redbeard. Hey, Redbeard, how you doing tonight?
And the cat?
I'm well. How you doing?
Not too bad.
Super excited to try this super fancy looking beer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get into history about that shortly. I know Greg has got a history on the beer, but we'll ask him first how he's doing tonight.
Hey, Mr. Nick, how are you?
I'm not too bad.
As you can tell by the decapitated heads, Lady Lee's not here with us tonight. So tonight I'm representing Lou Dogs. Although I'll admit that I'm kind of weirded out by this shirt because it's not a t-shirt. It's not a full-length shirt. It kind of weirds me out. But otherwise, there we go. Problem solved. And we're here, as always, with Bella.
No, puppy.
She just kicked me. She just kicked me in the butt crack. And that's it for now. Arnold will probably join us later. But otherwise, I'm happy to be here, Nick, and very excited. And unless he still shows up tonight, I just want to point out that literally everyone is still better than Dan.
Yeah. Unless Dan shows up because he's I think going to the liquor store right now to see if he can find the beer that he had an entire week to go look for.
Then you know what? If Dan shows up, I will say that he is now better than literally everyone.
Dan? Better than everyone?
Yeah, everyone. Well, for the next half hour or so, we'll say.
Yeah. Be careful what you say. All right, so let's go over to moi, and our 0 viewers. We are live, right? Yeah. Oh, well, let's talk about the history on Hop Valley because it's semi-interesting, I guess. And it's also good that Redbeard's here. You'll notice why here shortly. Hop Valley Brewing was founded in 2009 in Eugene, Oregon, by co-founders Chuck Hare, Jonas Knigas. Oh, I gotta be careful. This is
I was gonna say, real careful.
And Trevor Howard. It's Kunygyys. So it's like Knigas. I don't know. It's like.
I hope it's not located in Niagara Falls.
From Monty Python's Quest for the Holy Grail. Anyway, sorry if he's listening. I doubt you're ever going to watch this show. Along with the help of their vice president of sales, Walter Macbeth, the group grew Hop Valley from a 1,000-barrel startup to a rising star amongst the Pacific Northwest brewing scene. Their success caught the attention of big breweries, though, and were bought out by Miller Coors in 2016, with Chuck Hare subsequently being named CEO of the company. We'll take a second to talk about another important player here, though. And yes, I've talked about this before on BA 101, but I swear it's important this time. CryoHops from Yakima Chief. First introduced in 2017, Yakima Chief created their CryoHop process by applying similar techniques used in the weed THC harvesting industry to hops. A cryogenic extraction process separating the concentrated lupulin powder from whole cone hops, harnessing the precious oils and flavors and resins, and leaving just the leafy bract residue behind. So basically, just getting that good old tasty hop resin, and none of the bitterness from the rest of the crap left over. As weed culture had always been ingrained in Hop Valley from the start, they instantly recognized this process as similar to the one used for creating bubble hash, which separates THC from marijuana into a sticky resin. So yeah, that's literally it's basically using the same process that they do to make hash with hops.
So this is basically the perfect beer for Ashley Sexton and Carrie.
I guess. As a result, they capitalized on this weed-inspired prop process by making their weed-inspired Stash series of IPAs, which includes Bubble Stash IPA. There's Stash Burst IPA, Hazy IPA, and there's also Cryo Stash Imperial IPA, which I didn't bring it. I have it in the fridge. Hop Valley remained primarily focused on the Pacific Northeast until early 2001, when their Stash series of IPAs was launched nationwide, as well as into Canada in July of 2021. Canadian production is handled in Ontario by Creemore Springs at their Creemore Brewery. Other beers from Hop Valley include Pineapple Stash House IPA, Pineapple IPA, Citrus Mistress IPA with grapefruit peel, Alphadelic IPA, and we'll go into some detail about this one here. The Bubble Stash IPA is a 6.2% ABV, 45 IBU, American style IPA, brewed with 100% Mosaic CryoHops sourced from Yakima Chief and first launched in summer of 2017. So, yeah, American version out of Oregon. This version out of Creemore Springs, made by Molson. So, what that means, we don't know yet. Or maybe we do, because imagine Gary's taking a quick drink of it. So, we'll talk to him for a second while he's got a mouthful and ask, what's your history?
And give us your full rating and personal preference, and who else's beer would you prefer to have tonight?
Not quite yet.
I've had that much.
So you never had this before?
I have not. Not to my knowledge.
All right. Let's go to Greg. Hi, Greg.
I've had it a few times. First I had it was at Timothy's, which is a pub that some of us visited in the summer, and they're my favorite wings in the world. And Chris can fight me on that. It's basically a dive bar, but they've always had They've always had Juicy Ass on tap, which was nice. It's like, okay, you can go there. It's basically all Molson products. Judging by the clientele, it's mostly Molson drinkers. But they've always had Juicy Ass. God, my brain's not working. On tap. And then suddenly they introduced a new beer. I was like, Bubble Stash. I'm like, Actually, they had Stonehooker IPA for a while. Stonehooker's a brewery in Etobicoke. It's like 10 minutes away from Timothy's. But then they dropped that for whatever reason. I guess it wasn't selling. So they got this Bubble Stash. And I'm like, oh, this mysterious Bubble Stash. So I tried it. Spoilers, I like Juicy Ass more, but it's a nice alternative when I don't necessarily want to have 2 or 3 Juicy Asses in one session. And now they have a third one from whatever the El Diablo brewery, whatever the fuck it's called. It's their white IPA. That one's good too. That's why I tried it first. And then there's a bar literally 5 minutes away from us by car. You could even walk there if you wanted, but I wouldn't. And they only serve Bubble Stash. Their food's really good. Their beer selection kind of sucks, but they have this as their only IPA and really their only craft beer, unless you count Creemore Lager as a craft beer. So guess what? I always get this when I go there because that's what my choices are. So I've had Bubble Stash many, many times, but it's often out of convenience more so than necessarily that it's the greatest beer in the world. But it could be. I haven't given my rating yet. Stay tuned, kids.
Ooh.
Also, Chloe is now here.
First pussy of the night.
And probably could use a shave, but right now she's hairy AF.
Hairy pussy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you, Greg. I'll go into my history here, which I have actually had this before I got the 12-pack that I bought for tonight's episode. Yeah, like when they first went nationwide or something like that, I remember they showed up here in New Brunswick I think it was Just This that showed up alongside. Do you remember those other beers from like Fine Company or something? It's kind of got that signature looking logo on it with the guy in a hat or something. It's actually, I think, a beer also made by Molson, but I knew when it came in that it was kind of released here as a what do you call it, like a crafty beer that it was for one of the major players, but it looked interesting. I love the fact that it's CryoHops. I've had a few other beers and generally had good luck with beers brewed with CryoHops, so I decided that, hey, I wanted to try this. So my first experience having this was a few years ago. I still haven't tried anything from that Fine Company, but even though this is a Molson product, I'd still try it because it says CryoHops right on the front. I was kind of curious. I don't think I've had it since. And the main reason why I picked up tonight's like the pack that I have for tonight. I picked it up a couple of weeks ago, and the main reason I picked it up is because they had a 12 pack of this stuff for the same price as your regular macros. So it was $29.95 or like $29.95 or something like that for 12 cans. And I'm thinking that, wait a minute, for a case of not that bad tasting IPAs, that's a fucking good value considering all the hazies I'm usually drinking. So I figured, hey, why not give it a shot? Anyway, that's my history with that one. What I think of it, I'll just have to wait and see. All right, so I might as well read it because there's only keep them hooping. What?
Well, hey, that works too.
Right, that hurts too. All right, speaking of which, let's go over to comments, and we got Marcin saying, "Cheers to my Canadian friends. Cheers, good sirs.
Cheers, Marcin.
Yahoy hoy.
Marcin's gonna. I don't know if he's got it yet or not, but he's gonna try a banana split chocolate stout that a local brewery is making. I hope it's an imperial stout.
I feel like that could potentially be really good.
I feel well. That's what I was saying earlier in our chat. I was saying to Marcin, I think that could either go one way or the other, really good or really bad.
It could be really good or really bad. You can taste nothing of the banana because the banana's been basically dissolved, or what do I want to say? Like it's turned into mush, and there's no sugars whatsoever residual. Or you can get loads of banana flavor, which would be awesome. I know that I remember had one banana split kind of beer from. It was like a banana split sour or something from Trailway. It might have been. I might be thinking about. I know it was a banana split beer. I can't remember. It was a sour. I think it was like their.
Why would you make that a sour? That sounds so wrong.
You know what? Sour doesn't sound right. It was like their Velvet Fog series, Trailway.
That needs to be a stout or like a fucking, or just add the banana flavor to a Kolsch or something maybe.
Well, so for what it's worth, the packaging of it, I shot it over to our chat. But for what it's worth, the packaging says they use dried bananas, which to me I think would probably be a better flavor. My only concern with that would be, do dried bananas give off enough flavor that you'd actually be able to tell?
That is a weird, almost kind of racist looking label. I don't know. That's they're peeling open the banana to show these brown people in a boat. Like, well, what I don't know. That's
well, to be fair, they're just regular people covered in chocolate. You don't really know what race they are.
So it's brown face then. That's not
well.
Right. It was.
Oh, that's
it was
funny.
A banana split snack pack. It wasn't their. It was a stout made with banana and graham cracker, I think. Anyway, I forget which one it was, but I remember that the banana in it just sort of like got lost in the mix because it pretty much all the sugars got fermented out like maple does. All right.
Dan just shared a picture of some Advent pack. It works out to $6.50 a can. In that that's it's not outrageous, but that's
it's only 150. It's only 150 a can. Plus, I think they have they have tax on top of theirs too. It's not like LCBO.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I believe they pay their tax on top. But I just
can't they store the reserve?
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
All right. So Marcin says haven't had a Creamore since they sold out, but I used to love the OG.
Creamore, you know what? Creamore, I think they sold out in, I think it was 2006. Molson bought them, if I'm not mistaken. From what I remember, their beer was pretty good. No, when was it?
It was like 2011, 2012.
I
got lucky, and Chad the albino around sent me some Creamores before they were bought out. And
I thought they were bought out a lot earlier.
I'll have to look it up.
If they were bought, I thought they were.
There might have been a time period where they were bought out, but they hadn't done anything to the brewery.
Well,
and it was
that was
2012 when they started doing stuff to the brewery.
Yeah, well, it was a while.
Wasn't that like one of the big things that happened like a while back, where like that was the big company comes in and takes over, but they're like, well, we're not going to change anything until they do. But nowadays, I feel like it's just like, yeah, we're coming in, just changing everything right away.
It's a tiny town of 1,500 people, but most of them aren't even in the town. They're kind of in like houses outside of it. It's a tiny little town, and Creemore used to be. And I got into craft beer in 2012, and they were they're already owned by Molson, but they were still the small town brewery. It's a little tiny brewery, had a nice little shop, little tour. It was very cute. Nowadays, if you look at, and you can probably Google map it if you want to look up the town of Creemore, it's this big, massive eyesore of a factory that's just fucking huge in the middle of town. And the town tried to protest against it, but of course, Molson got their way.
Nice.
It's fucking gigantic. And apparently that's when they started filtering their beer. Because I used to love Creemore Lager. I thought it was one of the best go-to lagers. But of course, now they want to distribute it more, so now they filter the fuck out of it. It used to be the cans went to shit, but then it was still good on tap. And then like a year later, nope, not good on tap now either.
Yeah, I haven't had anything by them in a while now.
You're not missing anything.
But even like the first times I tried them, I reviewed a few. Like even their it was all okay. I don't think I hated anything, but it was never anything that I was like, oh, I'm going to come back and have some of that.
Yeah, from my recollection of Creemore Springs beers before their filtration was changed, like the brewing system and filtration was changed. I'm trying to find more details on it. I'll talk about that in a moment. But I remember like having the Kellerbach and one of the other ones. It wasn't the lager, and I even got to try the lager, but it was past its prime because what would happen is that the lager didn't have a great shelf life.
No, but they didn't. God,
that stuff ever so smooth. And had a unique soft mouthfeel. But after most of it was done with it, it just tasted like any other ordinary fucking lager. I mean, it was a pretty good lager. It was just nothing exciting.
Yeah. I mean, I used to always love it because it was like, hey, this bar serves Molson Canadian. They serve Coors Light. Oh, Creemore. I'll have that. Thanks.
Yeah. And I just saw your post where you said, yeah, April 22nd, 2005 is when Molson bought up Creemore, but they expanded their brewery. I'm looking at a report from March 2011. So it was like 2011, 2012 when they upgraded their filtration. And I remember Chad sending me beers from before they were, before the brewery was upgraded. And that was like, so that would have been like late 2011, early 2012. He would have done that.
What is the date on your beers?
Mine is September 27th of this year.
Does yours actually say a date? Mine
I got a J 2723. Isn't J?
J is September.
Mine says G.
Just remember they skip I.
Yeah, so 9th month.
So it's September.
That's
so it's a fairly fresh beer.
So yeah, I got
month and a half. It's held up. It's up.
Mine's
this is surprising.
July.
Yours a little bit older than ours.
Oh,
well, yours are in 12 packs, so it's a different packaging run.
Yeah, probably. This one here, the bubble stash burst is F, so it's even older.
Is that the hazy?
Yeah, it's the hazy.
Yeah, I've got the hazy and then the imperial, I guess, in my pack still to try, and I haven't looked at them. I'm hoping, like that's one of the things I hate about buying mixed packs. I'm at the point now where, like, if I can without damaging anything, I'm opening up that mixed pack and checking the dates before I buy shit, because like there'll be like one beer that's fresh. If like a 4-pack say of mixed beer, like one's like fresh, and the other ones are like from 4 or 5 months ago. It's like, oh yeah, you're just getting rid of your old stock by putting it in a mixed pack or something. It seems like it's really annoying.
Something about the other one, like Stash Burst. Like when I was looking up the stuff on Hop Valley earlier, they had one called Stash Panda, and I'm looking on the label on this one, and it's got all kinds of raccoon pictures. So I'm thinking maybe this is the Canadian version of Stash Panda, but they couldn't use that name up here for some reason. Maybe Amsterdam owns it or something.
Isn't there a beer called Trash Panda, or there used to be at some point?
There's a Mascot Brewing. They're all raccoon based, so I think they have a Trash Panda beer of some sort.
Yeah, so maybe they didn't want to.
Was it
Step on toes?
I thought it was Bandit. Bandit's got.
You got me, Nick. It is Bandit. You're right. I get my brewers confused.
I do really like the simplistic logo with like just that's obviously the hop is the hop valley kind of thing with like, and it's all made of like little bubbles, but it looks like a little kind of cobblestone path almost. It's simple, but it's the same exact thing that's on Nick's other beer he just showed, but the same but different. So they can change. They can change it up, but keep it the same to show like that. That's I like when breweries do that, when like all their beers have kind of a
like this is
theme,
kind
at
of
least.
got the
like it still looks the same. It's the same but different. You know what I mean? Like it's recognizable. Like Gateway City, actually, the brewery here in North Bay does kind of the same thing, but on a really different scale or style. Whereas all of their can art is done by the same artist in the same style, but all of their can art is actually kind of wildly different. But you look at them and you can see, like, yeah, that's all the same. It's pretty cool.
All right. Okay, so let's move on to another comment here. We got Lee Russell saying, only 3 people on tonight, so the racism and sexism in general, the awfulness is more concentrated. You're not wrong.
I don't see... I pointed out that I thought that can art seemed kind of racist, but aside from that, I think we've been pretty good, haven't we?
Oh, the night is young, Care. We still like to start with just a little bit. And
we don't have enough Lee Russell on the channel right now.
I'm just gonna get some Tourette's going on.
Beer Tourette's. Fuck this shit. All right.
Speaking of Niagara Falls.
So it's 250 in NB. I'm thinking Dan's talking about that advent calendar, which I can't even find on the NB Liquor website anymore.
Yeah,
I wonder if it's already sold out.
That's straight up
at that fucking place.
That's disgusting. If that's like really, you're gonna charge $100 more? Really?
What, for the advent calendar?
Yeah, that's insane.
For the cost of importing,
and they sell it. That's the fucking problem. It's like it's going to work out to $10 a beer, and there's enough wackaloons in New Brunswick that'll like, oh, I'm going to spend all that money to buy all that shit because I'm getting all these premium beers. And I'm like, yeah, but you're making the problem worse.
Yeah, that's insane.
Well, some people have money and.
Is that it's being perpetrated by a fucking government-run agency. Like NB Liquor is owned by the province of New Brunswick. So it's province of New Brunswick that's coming up with this fucking scam to charge that much more money, $100 more in a pack. Where's this money going? Right back to the pockets of
they like to give you the bullshit that they're protecting your health by making it more expensive. So that's why they have minimum shelf prices to protect your health. It's like, no, you know what? Fuck you. If somebody wants to sell me a beer for a 12-pack for $1, they should be allowed to do it. Like
$1 a beer,
$1 a case.
Alrighty, so what else we got here? Deanna's saying that's why I shared it, because NB, they are selling the same Advent calendar for $100 more. Yeah, we just talked about that. So calendar, yay. Yeah, I'm not going to say that out loud. Okay, so yeah. Well, Carrie's taking off to probably go drain pour the rest of that beer, or piss,
or to grab the second can of said beer. What are you talking about?
Yeah. All right.
Oh. And like, yeah, Lee, I am the super racist one. Okay. Lee, the racist Russell.
You just happen to have K in your name, so you're a low-hanging fruit.
Lee Russell says, I want a Maritimes beer advent calendar of stuff not found in the NSLC. Yeah, like, and we're not talking like beers not from Nova Scotia. Like so and Lee Russell's just going to get a New Brunswick beer advent calendar. But like every specialties from all the different breweries around the Maritimes, like stuff from Trailway that you wouldn't get here in the NB Liquor and shit. And there used to be like an advent calendar, or maritime craft beer advent calendar, but I don't think they made it in the last couple of years, probably because of COVID. Like there used to be, I don't know if Lee ever got one, but to me, I've never bought one myself either. It's a lot of money to spend on beer. Marston's saying, anybody buy that Sam Adams Utopia? And I'm like, is that even available up north of the border?
I'm not aware that it's come out recently. Like they usually release it once every year or so, so it probably will be at some point. I have bought a bottle of it before. It's I guess I never shared any with Marson. Maybe I'm a hashtag bad brother-in-law. But
You're just a hashtag bad everything.
That's pretty much it. But as of right now, I haven't been proven to be racist yet. So there we go. But again, give it
proven racist.
Give it another 10 minutes or so. I am double fisting with an 8% beer because I don't have a second can of mine, so I have to preserve this. Anyway, I forgot. Oh yeah, Sam Adams Utopia. I have had it. In fact, I think I sent Nick a sample as well. It's it drinks like a liqueur. Like, I mean, it's something to try. Personally, would I spend another $150 for a bottle? I think it was 115 when I bought it. Nope. But it's worth trying if you get the opportunity. But
it's like one of those ones where it's like, yeah, it's worth having once. I don't know if I go buy it every year for what's it now, $150.
I think 150, and I think in the US it's around 300 US a bottle is what they typically sell it for. But
wow.
Again, like if you is that the kind of thing where like you could potentially go to a bar and they'd have like a shot for $20 or something?
I'm not aware, but probably something like Bar Volo, which is a big beer bar in Toronto, something like that would probably have it. Yeah,
because that's what you could basically do with that kind of stuff, isn't it? Like it's basically like a spirit, kind of like it's beyond beer, kind of at that point.
Oh yeah, it's a spirit. Yeah. Like it took me like 3 years to finish my bottle because that 750 lasted a surprisingly long amount of time. Because it's also very sweet, so you don't want to drink a lot of it. At least
what is the ABV on that? Isn't it like 30 or something?
It's close to 30. I think it's like 27, 28%.
Oh, there you go. 240 for its current version.
There we go. That's US.
Again, though, like if you're comparing it to other stuff that you want to buy, like go to the LCBO. They've got bottles of scotch and shit for like $400 or $500. You know what I mean? Like it's all about what you want, and I imagine that Utopia stuff, as far as making something goes, that probably does have a pretty decent amount of like labor and effort going into making it too.
Well, I mean, it's also aged beer. I mean, some of that beer in it is like something like 22, 23 years old that's been aged over a while.
So just having to keep the storage space reserved for having that on hand. Like people don't think about the way that costs can really escalate when you're doing.
Oh, listen, I'm not saying. I mean, if it's worth it to you, it's worth it to you. It's like anything else in life. I'm just saying, I've had it once. I don't think I'd buy it again.
Any way you look at it, $240 for a 750, whatever it is, that's fucking expensive. But again, if it's worth it for you, it's worth it for you.
Well, how big is the bottle for $240 anyway?
I can't remember if it's 700 or 750. I have the bottle somewhere. Let me go have a look.
But I remember like one of the blends from previous years used that Sam Adams triple bock from the 90s. And I remember Matt, the massive beer reviewer, massive beer reviews, he brought some up to the 2015 Albino Runner Beer Fest. And that was a unique beer. It was somewhere between a really thick, tasty bock and soy sauce. It was just, I liked it, but it was weird. Yeah.
Soy sauce.
Yeah. But in a good way. It had that kind of a savory umami flavor to it.
You know, at work the other day, one of my coworkers randomly cooked up a pork loin and put oyster sauce on it.
Oh yeah.
It was delicious.
That's probably good.
That is actually like it as far as I didn't know it did that. I didn't know it had that. So it actually is. It's a small replica.
It's ceramic. Yeah.
It's a small replica of like a ferment. Yeah.
The bottle is absolutely fantastic.
I never noticed that before, and it actually has like the hatch on it and stuff. I never knew that. That's really cool.
So it's 28%, 710 milliliters.
Okay. That's your normal spirits bottle size kind of.
Yeah, a tiny bit smaller, but basically, yeah. And I mean, I guess the way I look at it is for $150, you can buy a pretty nice scotch. Now, again, I know Carrie's not a scotch drinker. If you don't like scotch, then it doesn't do anything for you. But for me, I would probably rather buy a $150 bottle of scotch versus this. But teach their own. But again, I wouldn't say don't try this. I think it's worth trying once. If you can get it at a bar, even better. But
that is a beautiful bottle too. That is really cool.
Yeah, it's definitely a bottle worth keeping.
It is. Well, yeah.
Is there anything left in the bottle, Greg?
Probably not. I don't think so.
You've already drained out the last little dribble above Utopias.
I don't know. Oh well, this came off from the thing. This is supposed to be attached.
Don't break it.
I'll have to re-glue that. Oh, that doesn't want to come off. There we go.
Oh,
there we go.
Oh, it probably smells, doesn't it?
No, I don't know. Let's have a sip.
Oh, gross. Oh. That's probably been when did you send me that? Was it like 2 years ago?
Well, yeah. There's no liquid in there. No, it's all.
Yeah,
I can still smell
it's
it.
all
like
dried.
The smell is like woo. The smell is like there, but yeah, there's no liquid.
You should throw like a a shot's worth of water in there and just let it kind of sit and see if it reabsorbs any, and then take.
I mean, you're not wrong. That probably would work, but. That'll be for another time. Maybe we'll do a special beer and I'll just see what does watered down Sam Adams Utopia taste like. But
reconstituted.
By the way, here's a fun fact for anyone that does decide. I know we don't have a lot of viewers right now, but if anyone does decide to buy a bottle of Sam Adams, contact Sam Adams Brewery and let them know you bought it. They may ask for proof of purchase and they'll send you a free glass. Isn't that nice?
Oh, cool.
It's a special Utopia branded glass too. It's nice.
That makes it totally worth it.
Well, you know what? It's similar. If I have it readily available, I'll show it to you.
All right, so I'm gonna move on to Lee's comment here. So he's never had a beer advent calendar either, and you're not. Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, me neither.
I've never decided to plunk the money down on having one. Just
if I was gonna have one, it would have to be like. I wouldn't want to buy one from like one brewery kind of thing. Like although the GLB one Greg got, if I was going to buy one from a brewery, them or Bellwoods or Soda City, I'd probably be pretty satisfied overall. But like I want a bunch of different shit. I want like a complete the crate. I want some bourbon barrel aged shit. I want some sours, some lagers. I want like a beer advent calendar that covers as much of the spectrum of beer as you can. I think that'd be really cool.
That's what I kind of like about the GLB one is it does.
Yeah, the GLB one's probably going to have, although they don't really do much in the sour realm. But
anyway, when it comes to advent calendars, I've never bought one just because whenever they come out, they're at a price point that I can't really stomach paying for that amount of beer. And it's always at a certain time of the year when I'm already buying Christmas presents for everybody. So it's just like,
that's fair enough.
I don't want to fucking pay that much money for that kind of set. I'm not sure if I'd even enjoy everything that's in it. And anyway. Oh yeah.
So they actually sent me two of them. I don't remember why, but for some reason I got two of them. So yay me.
Oh, they come in that little cool case thing. That's kind of neat.
Yeah, it comes with a little thing just to kind of keep it, and it'll just probably stay in there since I don't drink Sam Adams Utopia all that often. So, but yeah, you have to just contact them. From what I remember, I think they may ask you for proof of purchase, and boom, you get a free glass.
Yeah, I think
take the comment down.
Showed up. Yeah, anyway, I think they showed up here in New Brunswick one time, but I think they were like $170, and it was $130, I think, and you had to win the lottery, like a lottery. You had to enter your name and do a chance to win the opportunity to purchase the Utopias, and because they only had like 5 bottles coming to the province or some stupid thing.
Oh yeah, it used to be a lottery thing too at the LCBO way back when it started. Nowadays, it's basically like they usually bring in like 500 bottles. That's not a shelf turn. They usually bring in like 500 bottles, and usually you have to call in and order it from the LCBO at 8 a.m. And usually within about 2 to 3 hours, they sell out.
Okay.
So if you want it, you'll get it. Like,
okay. You just have to be on the ball and get the day they release them.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's kind of like Bourbon County when it shows up here is like that. Like last couple of years running, I've gotten a bottle of Bourbon County, but I had to show up at the liquor store at like 10 a.m., 10:30 a.m., and then pick up a bottle.
That left field mix pack that was at the beer store did not last long at all, or the LCBO. Sorry. I ran away. I grabbed one, and then I was like, you know what? The beers were really good. It's like, I was like, I might grab one more, and nope.
Lee's saying I could have bought a Stiegel calendar, but it hardly seemed worth it. That does hardly seem worth it. I wonder, kind of curious what was in it.
I mean, the GLB one I thought was, relatively down to earth price. Like last year. So last year was really weird because they sold it in three parts, and you could buy all of them, or you could buy one of them or two of them, however you wanted. They were $24. So the whole thing, I believe that's 72. 24 times 3 is 72, if I'm not mistaken. So the whole thing was 72, but it didn't come in a fancy box or anything like that. You just got stickers you put on a thing, and then at the end, if you had all the stickers on the thing, you brought it in, they gave you a free bottle of Solstice. This year, they're doing it a little fancier. They're still separating it into 4 6-packs. The whole thing costs $110, so it's more expensive, but you get 4 glasses with it. So, yeah, it's still getting to me a little expensive, but it's more reasonable than $150 or $250. So.
I'm looking at the Stiegel Radler, the Stiegel Advent calendar that Lee was talking about. It had it has 5 Radlers in it. So I guess it had the grapefruit, the lemon Radler, the Stiegel Goldbrow, the Hells, Big Zwickel. Oh, like a Zwickel beer. Okay. Columbus. I'm guessing it's Columbus hopped. So I don't even know if is that 2 for it, and is it all different ones, or it's all the same? I don't know. That seems.
I would hope for that kind of money, it's 24 unique beers.
Parkside Liquor. I'm looking at the page on the page of Parkside Liquor in Lethbridge, Alberta. So that's a Canadian price. So it's $90 for 24 bottles of fucking Stiegel. No.
And again, with a lot of these, you're paying for the fancy box, which I mean is fine if you want it, but to me, I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to pay that much money for a fancy box.
All right, so it's really rolling the dice. Like, how old is that shit? Are we talking about the Radler still? Yeah, how old is that? All right, so speaking of how old is that shit, anybody want to talk about tonight's beer? I'll put Gary up.
Oh, make the old fella talk.
Yep.
God damn you.
It's
way better than I expected. Like some kind of weird random IPAs by craft brewery bought out by a big brewery. It seems like they maybe haven't really started to fuck with them that much. This is actually pretty good. It's a bit sweet, I find. Like, I'm not sure if maybe, I don't know. I'd love to try this really fresh. It is only like a month and a half, but stuff can still change. But it's nicely carbonated. It's like, it's got a decent little bit of bitterness going on. Smells kind of tropical, fruity. Like, yeah, it's way better than I expected, for sure. I'm going to go 7.75s across the board.
Oh, there we go.
All right. Okay, we copy that twice. And we'll get Greg's thoughts here in a momento. All right. Thank you, Gary. Let's go over to Greg.
Now, my thoughts are going to be different than Carrie's, not so much because I disagree with him, because I actually agree with most of what he said, but I come from a slightly different perspective. So I've had this on tap many times, and unfortunately in the can, it's not that great compared to on tap. And that's not, even the on tap one, I'm not going to say is amazing, but it's better than this. It is definitely, it does definitely swing towards the sweet side. I generally would prefer something a little more bitter. And there's just sort of I can almost describe it. It's almost like a flatness to it. Like you kind of take a sip, you get some flavor, and then it just kind of disappears. Just a little sweet flavor, and then just disappears. Where I don't find that happens on tap. So, but again, tap and bottle are different. But I mean, otherwise, I mean, that's really my only complaint is I do find it's not quite as good as on tap. It's a very solid beer. I don't want to suck its dick too much, but I mean, like because of the fact it often saves me from having to drink a Molson product or not drink at all, like a healthy person. I mean, this beer's like a 12 out of 10 in that regard. But if we're basically, if I'm just kind of looking at it without that very biased opinion, I will go as an IPA. It doesn't quite hit the marks for me because I like a more bitter IPA. So, I mean, I'm going to go 6.5 as an IPA for style. I'm going to go personal preference. And this is where my bias does come in a little bit because I do get to drink it fairly regularly. I'm going to go, I'm going to be a dick like Carrie. I'm going to go 8.25 on personal preference.
Jesus.
Yeah, just to make Nick work for it. Because it's not quite an 8.5 for me. 8.5 is starting to get into the great category. But you know what? I do enjoy this. I could happily, I almost look at this as like a session IPA. Like it's 6.2. So, session.
It's session.
It's a relative term, but it's very easy drinking. I do wish there's more flavor to it. But again, I could drink a ton of these. If somebody didn't tell me the alcohol, I could probably drink 6 or 8 of them and then not feel so great. Whereas, I mean, this is like Bone Shaker. I know what I'm drinking. Like, you don't have to tell me this is a heavy beer. I probably don't want to drink a whole ton of these, or I'm really not going to feel too good the next day. But anyway, that's in my own opinion.
Moo. Hashtag moo. Chris isn't using it anymore.
Lou Dogs.
Moo Dogs.
Hashtag Lou.
Go to Lou Dogs. Get yourself a pizza. I think they have pizza there now. Keep Lady Lee employed.
Their pizza is goddamn insane. It's
goddamn
so
insane. There you go.
Nice.
You got a live customer review. I've never tried their food, so their food could be the best in the world or it could be crap. One day I'll find out. But
it's damn tasty.
I got to go back. If I go back to North Bay for a visit, then Greg's going to come up too.
Oh, wow. Ultimatum.
There you go. All right. So thank you, Greg, on that one. And it's time to give my thoughts on Bubble Stash. Obviously, I like it enough that I'm drinking 2 cans of it in one episode. And I'm almost through this one. But what do I really think about it? I get what Greg's saying there when he's talking about there's like a flatness to it where it's like you drink a drink and it disappears. I also find that there's a literal flatness to this where it's kind of like it's low on carbonation. And I also think that maybe there's like a little bit of some of the older can coming into play because my packaging date was like the G, meaning July. So I think 4-month-old can of this shit. And I'm thinking it's like, oh yeah, no wonder I'm getting this kind of weird stale hop note that reminds me like the skin off of a peach or a grape or something. It's just got that kind of weird, almost sour bitterness. Otherwise, it's okay. Like Carrie was saying, it's got the nice tropical notes. It's got the bits of passion fruit, grapefruit, and it's definitely a good, serviceable, easy drinking IPA. There's absolutely in that regard, it's nothing wrong with it except for maybe I wish I had it a little bit fresher. And that kind of the flatness of the profile here kind of makes it almost like uninteresting and unexciting to me. It's okay. Obviously, I think these are the last 2 of the Bubble Stash I've had in the pack, so I liked it well enough that I got my money's worth out of the pack. I got to drink 4 IPAs out of it, and I've got more in the pack. I think I like this one a little bit better in the pack, but wait and see. Otherwise, I'm just going to say, what's my rating? I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 for the style. And overall enjoyment, I didn't quite like it that much. So it's going to be 6.75 for the style. For the overall enjoyment, sorry. And it's beer. I mean, if this was all it was on tap at a bar, I would definitely get it. But I would say that for IPAs, there's probably other options, but I can't deny when it comes to the value prospect of it. It's like to get a 12-pack of IPAs for $30. That's a pretty fucking good deal at today's prices. All right, so I'm gonna do the math. I don't think there's that many more comments here, but yeah, okay. So Lee Russell says their pizza is so insane they locked Lady Lee up.
Wow.
Prices to be locked up for.
I mean, they're just teaching her how to make good sandwiches, and then they'll release her into the population.
It's pizza's so good. It's literally like Lady Lee living in sin.
Whoa, Jesus, Nick. Well, there's the second. There's the sexism for the night.
There you go.
Now, is there any way we can
Nice.
insult disabled people? Oh, their prices are so good, it's retarded.
Jesus, Craig.
Wow.
There we go.
Nice.
We got that out of us.
Yeah. Greg, when you're Reich, you're Reich.
I did not see that coming.
Wow. Nicely done. Dan asked a question.
Nicely done. Anyway. All right, I'm doing that. Dan's asked the magic question. I will introduce that as soon as I do the maths.
I don't know about that. He just wrote a bunch of letters without even a question mark. How are we supposed to know what that means?
He should have put a question mark and should have maybe actually typed it out. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
It is kind of lazy and sad.
It is kind of lazy. You should have
he's basically reinforcing the piece of paper behind Greg right now.
You're not wrong. Dan is literally worse than
well, Nick is doing that piece of paper. Let's just go have a look and see what that says, because I always have to do it in selfie mode, otherwise you can't see it. But let's have a look. So we got the serial killer Lady Lee's heads that are happily presenting that literally anyone is better than Dan. So listen, I like Dan. Dan is a good guy, but it's hard to argue with an unlaminated certificate. I mean, they don't lie.
They don't often lie.
The question has now been asked in the proper extra large caps screamo way by Mr. Lee Russell.
Oh, now he's just getting upset.
After Dan, what the fucking fuck is next week's beer? Would have been his. Yep. Oh, the flying fuck. Yeah, fucking fuck flying work is weird.
It's all good. It's some sort of fuck no matter what.
Wait, with the flying F at symbol exclamation. That's too many letters, Dan. You fucked up.
You done fucked up. Anybody ever see that drone that somebody made or something like where it's, or like I think you can buy them where it's like a drone or a thing you can fly around. It's literally the word fuck with a helicopter.
Oh yeah, flying fuck.
Literally a flying fuck.
That was sold on Think Geek back in the day. Actually, I want to say they had that thing.
Yeah,
I never heard of that, but I kind of want it now.
You probably still get one.
A flying fuck. Amazon right now. Let's see. I'm going to search flying fuck. Flying fuck.
Where can we get a flying fuck?
Oh, apparently maybe not Amazon. They don't. Wow. Let's just Google that.
They go Nerf.
Let's just put drone, eh? Flying fuck drone. The flying fuck. At thisiswhyimbroke.com.
There we go.
And there you go. There's. I'm pretty. Okay. It's all the picture is always censored, but if you buy it, it's not censored. Oh look, they make the flying fuck plane too.
Oh, cool. Nice. Before I post that, I got that. No, I didn't.
They got that "Go the Fuck to Sleep" kids book. Don't fuck up the table coasters. This is kind of an interesting website I found out of nowhere here. This is why I'm broke.com.
This is why Carrie's broke.com.
That's just poor management skills. Poor money management skills on my part.
Yeah, but you like to collect. You like to collect things like Lego and stuff that are expensive-ish?
Eh, not even that much, really.
Well, he goes easy on me. I talk about records all the time.
I do want that $700 Hulkbuster.
That shit.
Like, dude, this Iron Man, like this giant Iron Man figure I have, literally fits inside that Hulkbuster. That's how big the Hulkbuster is. It's crazy. Anyway, that's not bad.
It seems reasonable, the rating.
Yeah, it's a 7.1, 7.6. That's actually better than I thought it would do because I wasn't feeling it. I brought the numbers down this time. First time.
I mean, I think, but I mean, I kind of think it's sort of right where it needs to be. I mean, it's like I say, it's a little bit better on tap, but again, it also depends which way you swing. Like I personally would like something a little bit more bitter, but at the same time, this is
I'd like to try it on tap. Maybe it'll be a little bit more carbonated. Maybe it'll have a little less of that stale hop note to it because mine can's so old. Yeah. And you know what? It's probably not that old on NB Liquor shelves. It's just they fucking kept everything in the fucking warehouse for so long before they put it out. Oh, we need a clear spot for it. I don't know.
We don't have any spot for it. Just keep it out in the sun for a couple of weeks.
There you go. I don't know. All right. Stop sharing. And the magic question has been asked by Lee because he asked it correctly.
Wow. Nick is laying down the camera tonight.
So next week's beer is going
to camera.
Laying down the hammer. Did I?
I heard camera. That's not that.
I feel with Nick, he might be laying down the camera.
What?
He probably has enough of them. He repurpose one.
All right. Let me talk. So next week's beer is going to be a re-review of. A re-analysis of Blanche de Chambly.
If Lady Lee was here, she'd probably tell you you're pronouncing that wrong. Just saying.
Oh, I probably am. Blanche de Chambly, which is
Fan de Wall.
It's Blanche de Chambly. Come on.
There you go. Yes.
Blanche de Chambles.
Blanche de
Chambly. So this beer is we originally looked at it on this channel for Beer Analysis 101 way back in 2017. And I think it was either one of Lee's last episodes or my first episodes. I think it was one of my first episodes of this, like from like November of 2017 or some shit. So anyway, we're going to take a look at another Unibrew product next week. We're scraping the bottom of the barrel for
Unibrow, Nick.
Unibrow. Maybe I got to grow out my little patch in here to have my caterpillars light up.
You can't tell my hair's kind of lighter here, but I kind of have a unibrow going on here. I once had an Asian chick at my old work. She wanted to thread my eyebrows because she said I had a unibrow. I've never cried so much in my life. It hurts so much.
So before we take off, I'm going to open this up so people can see it.
There you go. Show us the space monkeys.
Yeah. Is it actually hazy?
That looks rather hazy.
It's not that bad, actually. Swirl it around, get a little bit more. Now, this can's even older than the Bubble Stash, so I can't remember. I think I like this one better, but what's F? That's June, isn't it? I think it is.
I have to do it with my fingers. Yeah, F is 6, so June, yes.
It's all right. It's just muted.
Oh, Carrie pulled his penis out. It's a white penis.
Time to whip it out. All right. So Dan says, what the flying fuck is next week's beer? You're a little too late. Blanche Devereaux. We're not talking about Golden Girls here. Anyway, Blanche de Chambly next week. We'll tune in next week. Maybe Lady Lee will be here to pronounce it correctly. So I want to thank Lee. I want to thank Marcin. You too, Dan. I think that's
Dan.
People that showed up in the chat tonight. But I appreciate
I'm gonna go on record and say there's some people better than Dan. The people who aren't watching our show, fuck you.
Yeah, those people will never hear that. I will say
Yeah.
thank you, Jamie. I know you're going to watch the replay at least. So we'll
Hi,
talk to you
Jamie.
folks later. And and while we're talking, going to sign off tonight, let's look at Redbeard's penis.
Oh wow. I can't wait for Jamie to break up with his wife so he can crush some puss.
I got Redbeard's penis covers the entire screen. All right. Good night, folks. Penis.